Let's make a one-page layout featuring photos from Christmas back in 1989. Should be fun since these photos were not edited and they're the only copies I have. Today I am working with photos from Christmas 1989. I know some of you can relate. And if you're new here, I am Katie Taylor at scrappinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. So I'm playing along with 30 Days of Sketches. Here is a look at the sketch and then again those photos. I only have these photos. I don't have negatives, and as most of you know, back then you really couldn't edit your photos, so you were stuck with what was developed. I've also pulled out some scratch pieces of paper from Close to My Heart's Christmas Story, as well as a wood grain piece of 12 by 12 that I may use as a background. But I am at a retreat, and they have this little table where you can go grab things for free. So I went over there, and I found a whole lot of Echo Park Christmas collection. I'm loving the vintage as well as the backside of those papers. And then there are just several sticker sheets that I think might go well with these photos as well. So I am going to clear my table off, and then we can get started assembling this layout per the sketch. So before I came to the retreat, I actually made up a whole bunch of little kits with what I thought I was going to use for the sketches. So right here, since I found those other sheets of paper, I'm just kind of trying those out against my photos. You guys see me do this a lot, and it just kind of helps me decide which ones look better. In the end, I think I am going to stick with the wood grain 12 by 12 as well as the Christmas Story strips. Now these are cut to 2 3/4 by 10 3/4, and the sketch just has them staggered, and I'm pretty much going to keep in line with the sketch. I'm really liking this green background paper, so I think I'm going to swap it out for one of the red pieces. So I've trimmed that down, and then, like I said, I'm going to take that top red piece and replace it. So now I'm going to have 2 green and then a toffee and then that striped that has the candy apple in it. The reason I am pulling in on the green is my mother in these photos has a green sweatshirt, and I kind of just want to highlight that. And then of course my brother is wearing the red Mickey Mouse shirt, and so that's why I'm keeping the candy apple in there. So I pulled out a piece of white daisy cardstock, and I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to stagger these photos. I really don't want them matted separately. I want them on a solid piece of cardstock. And then I have this little frame that I'm liking that I kind of want to highlight that photo of my dad, my mom, and my brother. So I'm going to trim down this piece of white daisy cardstock, put it back on my layout, and just kind of draft that before I actually commit. I know that that top photo is going to be straight on the white daisy cardstock, and then that bottom photo of me and my present. Again, I'm going to pull out these frames to try and decide what I'm going to do with that middle photo before I adhere down that bottom photo. I'll tell you the story of that present I am holding up here in just a second, so make sure you stick around for that. The easiest way to get these strips of paper down is to go ahead and add 2 of them together and then kind of offset them about 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to line up these green pieces, and that's going to help me line up that toffee even with that stripe. And then just go ahead and adhere those down to that wood grain paper. I am leaving, or I'm trying to leave, the same distance between the longest piece on the left and the longest piece on the right, which ends up being about 1/4 inch. Again, just kind of eyeballing it, making sure it is straight. Like I mentioned before, I am at a retreat, so it is difficult not only to scrapbook sitting down. I'm used to standing up at my house, but it's also kind of difficult to just kind of get in the groove of things. So I apologize if this video quality isn't what you guys are used to. I am using 3D foam tape for those photos, and then here's where I'm going to pull in that one. What I didn't realize is that I am pretty much at the top of that photo on the bottom, so I can't use that frame, but I really love it. So I'm going to end up trimming one of the ends off and kind of stacking it underneath that little photo grouping. One of the beauties of using 3D foam tape, and then you guys know that I don't really tape the edges because it allows me to kind of tuck things in behind and under, and you'll see me do that a lot on this layout. I am referring back to those sticker sheets that I pulled from the free bin and kind of picking some things. This one says, "Be filled with the magic of Christmas," which I don't know if any of you kind of feel this way, but we are at my grandmother's house. And so, of course, they are no longer here. And it just makes the magic of Christmas just a little bit more sentimental. So I definitely wanted that piece. And then I'm just peeling off these little holly stickers to kind of just fill in the gaps. There is a tag on one of these Echo Park pieces. I love the vintage feel, and I love that it has quite a bit of lines. So I'm going to cut that out, and I'm actually going to use that for my journaling. And if I need additional journaling, I can hide it either behind the layout or just cut a slit on one of those strips of paper. So I'm looking at this other vintage. I really like it, but I don't think it's going to fit anywhere because my photos took up so much space. So I'm looking at the other stickers. Now there is a sticker that says "I Heart Presents," and that is going to go down by that bottom photo. So let me tell you about that bottom photo. You probably can't tell, but it was a pajama that I got, and I absolutely loved these pajamas. They were soft, but not really fleece. I can't really explain it, and they had sheep all over them, and it was pastel. So totally not me. I didn't really remember loving sheep. I don't remember telling my mother or my aunt or whoever purchased this gift for me that I loved sheep. And then I definitely did not really love pastel colors. My high school had, the school colors were red and white, and you probably saw me in red and white the majority of the time. But something about this gift was just perfect. And I wore those pajamas probably until, I don't know, until holes were worn in them. I loved them so much. And so that's why I am using that little chipboard piece that says "I Heart Presents." So here is where that little rectangle is going to go that says "Be filled with the magic of Christmas." And then I am going to pull off a couple of other little stickers and try those out. But I'm going to end up going with a circle sticker that says "Joy." And that's going to go down in that little grouping with the tag and then that sentiment. I am putting some of the stickers on my anti-static pouch to take the sticky off so I can apply 3D foam tape. So you'll see me do that right here. The thing about this layout is it's got a lot of layers, not only in the strips of pattern paper, but it also has a lot of layers in the stickers, the 3D foam tape, the tags, which just makes it a little bit more interesting. Again, you're working with some old photos. I know you guys can relate. Not the best quality photos either. It's dark on the photos. There's a glare. You really can't tell, but I can tell you, just by looking at these photos, and especially the mess that was made on that Christmas, I kind of just get transported back to my grandparents' living room, opening presents, opening our stockings. I can still tell you what we got every year in our stockings. My children would probably be like so surprised if they got what we got, which I'm sure you guys know. So I am just loving the photos, and I definitely want to keep those the focal point of this layout. So since I had to kind of catty corner that middle photo and that frame wasn't going to work, you're going to see me kind of mess with that piece of white daisy cardstock that's showing. You notice that it's a little bit larger than the other pieces, so I'm going to be moving that little tag or that little pennant around here in just a second. I move it several times, but in the end, I really like where it ended up. So that sticker with all the lanterns up at the top, I really wanted a gold star. So I pulled out my Christmas Story collection, which if you recall, Some of the strips of paper that I used are from the Christmas Story collection. And I'm going to pull out my 3D foam dots and just attach one of those to the tallest lantern and then pull out the largest gold star. Now there are some additional little bitty gold stars that I'm going to add here and there. And then I really want a larger star to go over to the left by that frame. I've used all those stars, so I'm going to do what I love to do, which is use the negative space. So you see me just cutting that from the carrier sheet, and I'm just using my micro tip scissors to go ahead and cut around that gold. And then that's just going to create an outline. Now, if you didn't want the outline, you definitely could stick this on a piece of cardstock and cut that out. But I'm liking that frame that I just had to have peeking out from behind that star. I am going to try some additional stickers, but in the end, I think that this layout is done, and I love that my photos are still the focal point of this layout. So I will leave links down below to all the products that I used, as well as links for you to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Don't forget that this is part of Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, which means that every day in June, there will be a different sketch. I will try to play along as much as I can, but I will link a playlist where you can go see everyone who is playing along, because I know some of those people really create, and you will be inspired. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you liked what you saw, please leave me a comment and a thumbs up. And if you aren't already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and push the notifications so you won't miss another crafty video. Thanks, and have a wonderful weekend.